All right, so hi everyone, this is Joel Clear from Jim's Group, and I'm with Shaun Roberts today, who is from Gym Security Diamond Creek. So thanks for, it's a Friday. We both forgot it was a public holiday on a Friday, so thanks for making the time for
That's
this.
okay.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
No worries. So what I'll ask you first is, what were you doing prior to Gyms?
I was working with Telstra doing their copper ADSL faults, and that was for 2 to 3 years. I'd be running around outside, going from pit to post to pillar, fixing the copper network.
And what prompted
Yeah,
you to make a change? Was it just one day you just sick of it, or you just found out the opportunity or heard about it, or how'd you come about doing something about it?
sure. Well, it was a matter of we just had uh, our second child, and it was getting quite expensive, particularly with childcare. I was working 6-day weeks, but I really needed to work. I really needed to make more money. I wanted to make more money. So a friend of mine told me about the opportunity with Gym Security starting up again in Melbourne. And so I thought I would take that and have a look at it. Yeah.
And what made you look at it that decided that? Were you looking at anything else, or was it only just Gym Security, or was there other things you were looking at the same time?
I was always thinking about this and that, but never really serious. My friend was so enthusiastic about it that I really wasn't looking at anything else. No, it was like just went straight from Telstra to this because the opportunity itself seemed like a really, really good opportunity. So I just couldn't say no to it.
And
Yeah.
what seemed so good about it? Was it something that you just learnt from asking the franchisors, or what made you really like the opportunity?
The had a little bit of research into um, what type of money you can make in this type of work. It was certainly a lot more than what I was making with Telstra. So the other thing is I could perhaps also work a 5-day week instead of 6-day week, which I was getting really sick of. So it really was just a matter of looking at just the maths of it, so I could afford more things for my family, more things for paying off those expensive childcare bills. Yeah.
Mm.
And the other thing is that I could also, if I wanted to, just take whatever day off I wish to take off if I really needed to. Yeah. So it was a little bit flexible. Yeah.
So lifestyle and income were the two main things, which is a lot of, when we do this, a lot of people, it's the same thing they say.
Mainly income, to be
Mainly,
honest.
yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Nothing wrong with that,
And
though.
ever since then, I'm very happy with the money I'm making.
Absolutely. That's good to hear. So what about the actual training itself? So you obviously had a background in this sort of stuff. So was the training, were you learning new things, or was it just the sort of, how did that all go for you?
So the context of moving from Telstra to alarm work, there's only a little bit of similarities with running cable and being familiar with the different types of cabling. Honestly, 80% of it was all brand new to me, particularly like learning alarm systems, learning intercoms, learning cameras. So the training itself, I did. There is in Victoria, there's a 10-week course you can do, which is like a very comprehensive course. I didn't do that one. I did. That's like a proper one that takes you through everything. I did a 2 or 3 week course by memory. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 weeks. I think it was 2. Just mainly dealing with alarms, because alarms are usually the hardest part. They're usually the most complex. Yeah. Cameras. With digital cameras, you could have some formal training, which would help. I didn't have any formal training. I just picked it up as you came along with it. But it's not too complex unless you really want to get into it. You can pick up a camera kit and install it, and you wouldn't need to know too much to actually get it up and running properly. Yeah.
That's the
So
alarm side where you got a bit more skill.
alarms are much more um, on the surface. They're much more complicated.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's talk about your services you provide. So you mentioned alarms and cameras. So do you maybe just expand on those services you provide to customers?
Yeah. Sure. In the main, most of the time I'm doing cameras. So um, I can install analog cameras if you really insist, but I usually install digital cameras, which run off the internet cable. Um, it could be I usually offer, the brands that we offer on the website. We could do Swan cameras or Hikvision, but mainly we do. I do install Dahua cameras, and because I honestly believe like they're the best value for money. But if a customer is looking for any other type of option, they can certainly have a look at that. Swan cameras are good also because they do quite a few things that the Dahua cameras don't do, and they're a bit more. They're a bit more. They're not as narrow or restricted as Dahua cameras. They'll talk with your Google devices and the like. So it just depends on which camera you're looking for. But if you came to me, a lot of people will just come to me and ask, what cameras should I put in? And really, it's just a matter of, how serious are you about, being notified about, people around your house, or do you just want something that's sitting there all the time recording? So usually that's usually what it all boils down to. With alarms, I can install, wireless alarms if you really need to. A wired alarm is better value for money and usually a little bit more robust. So usually it's a Bosch 3000 that I would install in your house. Occasionally I'll do intercoms. I don't do them too often. So that usually is a Dahua intercom. Now we can like technically do other things, but I've never really come across too many circumstances where you're doing, like your access control, or any other, more complicated things like that. So I haven't really come across it yet.
Mm.
So I suppose it's a matter of I'm always learning on the job, and if I did have a serious inquiry about it, I'd have to, look further into it. But as far as cameras, alarms, and intercoms go, yeah, no problem.
I was going to say, is there do you see it, has it been, how long have you been a franchisee for in total?
2 years, 10 months,
It's good you can be
9 months.
9 months, but has it been something where you've seen a slow trend increasing up with the security systems in the homes, so the camera systems and things like that?
Oh, you mean people's inquiries?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
it's it it never seems to stop. It's just a constant. It's like a constant flow of requests. And in the main, they're camera inquiries. 7 times out of 10, it's a camera, or a set of cameras, and there's never been any sort of quiet periods. You always have people, like it just feels like everyone wants cameras now. I
Yeah, I was going
almost
to
feel
say
like when
that.
they
Yeah.
in the future, when they're going to build new estates, they're just going to build cameras straight into the houses. It'll be like that one day. That's
Yeah,
what it feels like.
absolutely. That's why I was curious to ask you about it, because obviously 5 years ago, for example, from just my perspective, I wouldn't have, maybe a couple of people I know, but now it just keeps coming
Yep.
more. And you see, I probably made the American influence with like those Ring doorbells and things like that, where they
Hmm.
see that and they have it on their phone, or that
Yep.
interconnected house. They're really,
Yes.
a lot more popular and more cheaper as well now, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Mm.
It would be by looking from some warranties from a few years ago. It'd be at least 30-40% cheaper now. Only after 3 years. I'm not sure exactly, where things are going to level out. But it's certainly a lot cheaper than it was 5 years ago. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what's the typical sort of install like? Is it, are you doing a couple a day, or are you doing, like, what's the typical day for you or a week look like for you, Shaun?
2 a day would be nice. No, I look, if I did 4 cameras, if I did 4 cameras in a normal house, it might take me 5 or 6 hours. Some people think they can do it in 4 or 5. That's okay. I'm not as fast as some people. If you did 6 cameras, that would take me maybe 8 or 9 hours. Yeah. So 6 or 8 cameras, eight cameras. Sometimes I'll just spread it over a couple of days, maybe. Depends. Or I could push hard for like a 10-hour day to put in 8 cameras. It depends on the house. Obviously, new houses are much nicer to work with. Old houses have always got surprises. But most of your day involves pushing lines through roofs. You put the line around the house, the lines all around the house in the holes. You put the yellow tongue in. You either get on top of the roof or inside the roof and pull them all through. Yeah, and then it's down the wall.
Now, with customers, do they come to you already with things they already with security systems they've seen online and say, "Can you do this?" Or do they come to you for advice, or how does it normally work from a customer's perspective?
Yeah, they'll ask basic advice. They've seen a lot of functions that cameras have based on usually if they have a SWAN inquiry with SWAN cameras. SWAN are very good at advertising, what their cameras do, so that you do get a fair few inquiries about what a SWAN camera can do for you. Other customers have done a little bit of research, that they'll know some basic things about, motion detection and, I want this and that on my phone. I can always give good advice relating to that, especially with the newer cameras. The newer cameras have got a very good motion detection, so it actually really resolves the whole problem with false alarms. But at least half of my customers either don't really know about security or they don't really care about the details, and they will trust my advice. At least half of them, which is also fine. That's fine. I don't mind. It's nice that they trust you and what you offer. Yeah.
Do you think having the brand helps you with that trust?
Yeah, having my own website that Alex helped me to set up. I refer everyone to my website, and after they read my reviews, they come back to me, and I can tell, that it does help.
How many reviews have you got? I didn't look on FMS for, but how many reviews have you got?
Not as many as I should have. 20 something.
You should ask them, because you've been doing a lot
26,
of jobs.
27 or something.
Yeah. Should ask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually ask most customers. Yeah. I suppose I'm trying to keep a perfect record of 5s.
The 5, yeah. Well, that's true. You might get the one, maybe 4 or something, which wrecks it. Yeah, 5 stars.
Yes, you do. You get some situations where you have like a tiny little thing goes wrong, and you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't ask the survey, or he might give me a 4. Yeah.
That's one thing with customers. If customers are watching this, to know that any gym's franchisee, you guys take the star rating very, very, very seriously. Like, it actually really, I can see the hurt when you see a franchisee where they might say, I have 200, 5-star surveys, and they get, let's say, 1 or 2 at 4 or 3, and it wrecks their rating to a 4.9.
It does.
It really annoys them.
And you've actually got to remind yourself to not be too concerned about it, but at the same time, honestly, even if I get a 4, which is rare, but I find it really annoying, because you just think, I really tried to do everything right. So what did I do wrong? So it's definitely something I take very seriously. Yeah. What am I on now? I've got, I don't know, it's at least 150 gym surveys, and I'm on 4.8,
which is good.
So
yeah, that's really good.
There's
And
like
I was
about
going to say,
135s. Yeah.
yeah, that's a really good number though. I was going to say with the industry in total, like because you've always got to constantly keep learning. How do you do that? Like, is there something that supplies, or how do you keep learning about new things, or is it
Yeah.
online, or how do you do it?
Alex is very helpful to organize training ad hoc when it really is needed. There are many opportunities to learn, and you could honestly learn a lot if you just went out there and made an effort. Some suppliers, most of them, offer training courses. We've been to a few. We could go to more if we really needed to.
Mm.
But yeah, usually it's a matter of going through the supplier who can give you some formal training. At the same time, though, I really don't mind like just learning from the books or learning off of YouTube. Yeah,
Mm.
you can learn a lot as well from that.
And you mentioned the name Alex before. So Alex is is your
Oh yeah,
franchisor.
sorry, he's a
So no, so I should mention it. So your franchise. So let's just explain to people what a franchisor is and what they does and help in your business.
well, Alex. He organizes the marketing, which is probably the most important. To me, it's the most important part because it really is a matter of generating. The purpose of the marketing is to generate more business for us, and he's done a really good job with that. We, like I was saying before, there's no problem with the amount of inquiries we get. Most of the time I have to switch myself off because I'm
Yeah.
so busy.
Mm.
So he's done really well with that. I see that as the main thing. Of course, he gives you support with any other inquiries you might have. Sorry, Alex. There's other people, of course, who help, with the admin side of it as well.
Mm.
But in the main, I'm very grateful for his support. We hold, monthly meetings. We talk about, where we're up to, any ways we can improve, what's new. He's introduced new suppliers to us and new businesses to us as well.
Mm. Because I was going to say, because it just seems like you can just go and just get the leads if you want them and turn them on and just do the work. And if you're independent, you'd have to worry about website, you'd have to worry about chasing up reviews, you'd have to worry about all these other things as well.
I'm really grateful for what Alex does, and especially like getting the Swan business. That's like that's really good. I'm very impressed with that. So we're not just doing Dahua and Hikvision now. We've got a lot of major players, a lot of major brands now that like formally recognize us, which is I find that really impressive.
Yeah, I had a look at your website before, and I've seen it a couple of times. You got all the systems on there for customers to educate them. There's it's really good stuff in there. The good photo of yourself and the other franchisees on there with the about landing page to learn more about them. So,
my friends call me the red M&M.
The red M&M. That's a bit harsh. And I was going to say to you, so it's not bad. So where can you see your industry heading in the next couple of years? Is there some developments or something for customers? Is there some sort of trend that you see happening, or obviously more integrated with the phone? Where do you see the next couple of years for your industry?
Firstly, I must admit I'm not the one who's at the forefront of new technology. I wish more to be so in the future. There are some people who work with us who are very switched on with all the new stuff. At the same time, though, I'd still answer the question easily. The main thing is people are really getting into the automated home area. Cameras and alarms, even with the installs we're doing now, cameras and alarms are very isolated. They work by themselves. Your cameras work, your alarm works, your alarm tells you it's going off, remotely. You can then, change to your cameras. But with a lot of the stuff that Swan are doing, and Dahua to a lesser degree, the cameras can be integrated with the rest of the home network, and that's where a lot of people are very interested in that. At the same time, though, I don't think it's just a matter of a couple of years away, because you'd hope it would be, but I don't really feel like the prices for these types of devices are really coming down quickly enough. That's just my general impression of the industry. I mean, maybe in 5 years they'll be cheap enough for everyone to buy, but they don't really they seem to be like a special purchase still. So it's sort of in that category. As soon as it becomes something that's like standard in a home, then your cameras and alarms will be very different. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone thinking about maybe joining? Because I know gym security is still, I don't know how many franchisees is there. It's only in Vic still, or is there South Australia? I think there's Daniel over there.
Yeah, Daniel's really, he's got 4 or 5 people at least, I think. I'm not sure. He's doing very well over there.
Yeah.
I think there's one new person in Queensland and one new person in Perth as well, I think. Maybe not Perth, but certainly Queensland, I think they're looking at. In Melbourne, there's about 8, by memory. So,
do you guys get together much, or you know of each other much, or?
Well, we have our monthly meetings.
Yep.
Yeah. So, as far as getting together, yeah, we see each other at training every now and then, a few times a year. Yeah. Cool. Maybe we'll see each other at Christmas time. That's probably the next time. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone thinking about maybe joining, or they like the sound of gym security?
Definitely do it. Be prepared to work very hard. Please be organized. You have to be so well organized. If you're not, you're just going to lose opportunities all the time. Make the best of every lead, but definitely do it, because it's good money. And for the work, you work very hard. Be prepared to do 9, 10, 11-hour days sometimes when you have to. It's a matter of saying, well, I can come back tomorrow, or I can stay here, get the job done, and I could do something else tomorrow. So that's sort of how I work. I don't really work on a regular sort of hourly basis. So if you're prepared to do that, then the rewards are all yours. You got to be prepared to learn. And the other thing is getting a security registration. You have to have open cabling license and the security registration. So be patient with the licensing. They'll take like 3 months to approve your registration. Yeah.
That's some great advice. So you said one thing which I think, be prepared to be organised. What did you mean by that? Because I've done a lot of these interviews with franchisees. I've never ever heard someone say that before. So what did exactly?
Oh, really?
Yeah. What did you exactly mean by be organised?
You can't just grab leads, write them on a piece of paper, and say, "Yeah, I'm going to call you back whenever." You've got to be set up really well from the beginning to impress your customers from the start, and you need to impress your customers when you're quoting them, when you're writing to them, and of course when you're on the job. If you don't, you're not going to convert leads into sales. It just won't happen, because you're going to look messy and you're going to look like everyone else. Gyms has what's the word? Gyms has the the marketing impression or image of being a large, professional, well-organized company that has values that come from the top down, and you need to show those values to the customer. Apart from your behavior, the other way you showed them is like how organized you are with the way you deal them, and also the way that you run your own admin in the background as well. So you need to have your quotes, your templates done really well, really thoroughly. You can't just write the customer a letter and cross your fingers. You should have proper quotes, proper scripting, proper, links to what they're looking for, warranty links, all the stuff that customers are looking for, but they don't ask for, but they are looking for it because it's a big purchase. It's not a small buy, it's a big buy. So they need to see that you are really serious about what they're doing. That's what I mean about being really organized. You've got to give them lots of stuff to work with.
I'm glad I asked that question.
It's a big buy for customers,
It is, absolutely. It
yeah,
is.
I got customers spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and you can't just walk around their house and go, "Yeah, here you go." You got to show them that you're as serious about it as they are. Then you get the sales because they know that you're as serious about it as they are. Yeah.
Fantastic bit of advice. I'm glad I asked that question, Shaun. We could use that for franchisee training almost in a way. It was a really good answer.
Good. Yeah, well, yeah. You've got to take time with the customers when you're there as well. Walk around their house, ask them every question. But yeah.
So I love what you said about your quote templates and things like that. Having your systemized in the background. So you put in that hard work. Get all that systemized there, so that when you do have those leads, you can be really professional.
That's right. Because doing quotes can drain your life. You're working a 4 or 5 day week on the job. You're coming home at night. It's like you got 3 quotes to write. If they take you half an hour each, it's just like there's 2 hours down the drain every night. You want them to be like 10 minutes each. So you know what you're doing. You know what you're writing, and it doesn't take too long.
Now, what can a customer expect when they call 131546 or lodge an inquiry online? Like, what's the next process for customers?
Well, if I'm available, they'll actually transfer the call to myself directly. I would always recommend to have that transfer facility switched on, because you're talking to them while they're in the mood. You, of course, introduce yourself, ask them, what they want to know about. You really want to know if they've seen the website, because then if they've seen the website, your customer's going to know what pricing to expect, because the pricing is very fair. It's right in the middle of the road. It's not cheap. It's not expensive. It's right in the middle, and that's where it should be. So it's like a fair price. Customers, if they expect that price, you can talk with them. You've got to go and see them to build, a relationship with them. After that, if everything goes well, I'm usually getting at least 6 or 7 out of 10 from my leads. Yeah.
Which is a good number on such a, a pretty substantial purchase for someone.
I suppose I work them a bit harder than maybe other people do in our group. Only because I don't like paying lead fees.
I don't think any franchisee does. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. So where can someone find yourself, Shaun, if they want to request a quote?
Oh, well, just Google Gym Security Diamond Creek.
That's it, 131546 as well. But I really appreciate your time, Shaun. It's the public holiday on a Friday. I forgot it myself, and so did you. So
that's right.
But thank you for your time.